Some Nintendo Switch games are starting to become rare. How's it going, everybody? I'm Linkachu, and today we're talking about more Switch games to buy before they become rare. Slowly over time, I've started to notice more and more Switch games disappear from store shelves and become way harder to find online. So hopefully in this video I can help you physical collectors find some games that you might have missed or forgotten about or might not have even known about before they become out of print or incredibly rare and expensive down the line. Now let me just emphasize, the games that I'm talking about in this video are games that I noticed are more scarce or uncommon, or even some of them have gone out of print and just out of stock across many different retailers. So hopefully in this video I can help you so you don't miss out on a game in your collection. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Neo: The World Ends With You. When I was doing research for this video, I was surprised to see that this game was appearing out of stock and out of print. Now you can pick up copies, but just like The World Ends With You Final Remix, this is already becoming rare. I know I see this game on sale all the time, and I just haven't been seeing it as much lately. And it's definitely one of those games where I kept seeing it on sale and ignoring it and be like, I'll pick it up later. And it's been a few years since this game has come out and I have still not picked it up. This is just one of those games where it kept flying under my radar and now I'm seeing it out of stock across many retailers. I love The World Ends With You and I'm just surprised that I haven't picked it up for myself yet, but this is definitely one of those games that you should just grab right away, especially if you see it on sale in stores or online, before it becomes as rare as The World Ends With You Final Remix. The next game is X Machina. This is a game that I have never heard anyone talk about since it was announced in the Nintendo Direct years and years ago. This game has a physical copy and it is already out of stock on many retailers. It's a really cool mecha game and it was something that kind of really resembles the earlier life of the Switch. And it had a really cool atmosphere and the demo was pretty fun, but I never really ended up hearing anything about it after its release. This is a game that has already dived into the depths of obscurity. X Machina looks great, it's got a really cool physical box art, and it is just a cool part of the Switch's history. I have many vivid memories with that era of the Nintendo Switch, and it's crazy how many years have passed since. Now this is an important pickup for all you Zelda fans. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. This is a game that released pretty early into the Switch's life, and when it came out, it didn't feel like very much time had passed since the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors came out. There has been 3 releases of Hyrule Warriors, and by the time Definitive Edition came out, myself and I know many others were tired of playing and buying Hyrule Warriors. It was really fun the first time, but do I really need to own 3 copies? Well, I'm a Zelda fan, so yes, I'm going to, and now there's a Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. There's so many Hyrule Warriors games. But this game has become really scarce, and I haven't seen it in a store in a really long time. This is just an early Switch title that is kind of phased out, especially with Age of Calamity being the Hyrule Warriors game on shelves, especially with the popularity of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't seen Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition since Age of Calamity came out. This game has very low physical availability online and may be available in some in-person stores, but I haven't seen it in a really long time. Some online retailers no longer list the game on their site. That really shows how much more rare it's become. And another title that you might count as a Zelda game, Cadence of Hyrule: Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. Now this game got a physical release a couple of months after the game first came out, and I almost forgot about it myself. One day it arrived on my doorstep through an Amazon delivery. This is a game where I feel not many people realize that it got a physical release. This game is out of stock in a lot of different stores. Now, some of you may or may not count this as a Zelda game, but definitely this is something that I have added to my Zelda collection. It's a really fun and creative rhythm game. It's definitely something I'm happy to have in my collection, and the Zelda music just absolutely slaps in that game. I think it was one of, and if not the first time, Nintendo had done a major crossover with their IP like this with an indie game. I don't think I've ever seen it physically in a store in my life. I only found it available to buy online through GameStop, and every other online retailer had it out of stock. And again, I've never seen this in store shelves, so this is definitely something that has a really limited quantity and could definitely become really rare. And Zelda games, as they become rare, are not cheap, and I definitely feel like this is a game that not many people knew had a physical release. So if you didn't know, this is something you should definitely add to your collection, and it's a great and really cool Zelda title if you'll count it as that. Another game, or two games that I wanted to mention, were Dragon Quest Builders. This is a game that I remember very vividly in the earlier Switch days and being shown off a lot in Nintendo Directs, and as well as the second one followed not that long ago. But already I don't see these games often. I do see Dragon Quest Builders 2 quite a bit, but I feel like Dragon Quest Builders 2 will follow the same as Dragon Quest Builders. I don't really see it in store shelves at all anymore, especially since Dragon Quest Builders 2 has come out, and for Dragon Quest Builders, it has very low availability online, only in a few retailers, but is definitely something that will become more and more rare, and it, from what I hear, is a really good game. Dragon Quest has a lot of charm to it, and if you're a Dragon Quest fan, definitely you do not want to miss out on this game, so pick it up and add it to your collection, both Dragon Quest Builders. Another title I'm going to talk about is Mario Party. Super Mario Party, to be specific. Now, this game is still fairly available, but the reason I bring this up is I haven't seen it in stores in a while since the release of Mario Party Superstars. And Super Mario Party was not very well received at all, and I've noticed it's out of stock in a couple of online retailers. So if you're interested in collecting your first party Nintendo games, I definitely recommend picking it up. I cannot though recommend it if you want a good Mario Party experience. That's where you look to Mario Party Superstar. But the game had some pretty solid mini games from what I remember, and it's definitely something that I can see becoming more and more rare. This is a game I just wanted to really quickly mention, is Katamari Reroll. This is an early Switch title, and I honestly just wanted to bring this up because I love Katamari Damacy. I think these games have so much charm to them, and it's something that you should definitely have in your physical Switch collection. They just released another Katamari game, so I don't know if this game will become rare or not, but it's definitely just a really fun game, and I recommend you get it because it's got pretty box art. Both of them have really cute box art, and they're really cool games, and something you should definitely consider picking up for your Switch collection if you haven't already. I don't know how rare it'll become, but it's just something I wanted to quickly mention because I don't hear many people talk about it. Now, you might be surprised to hear me talk about this next game, but Live Alive is the next game I'm talking about. I don't see anyone talk about this game, and I have not seen it on store shelves since I have practically picked it up. It came out at a really weird time right before Xenoblade, and I feel like a lot of people just let it fall into obscurity. It just isn't something that is talked about, and it is an incredible RPG. This is that perfect RPG. If you want that RPG experience, that HD 2D look, and you want a short RPG experience, because it's nice. It's a nice bite-sized 30-hour RPG. I fell in love with this game. It has so much charm, and it's a really unique game, especially knowing it's a remake of an old Super Nintendo game. It holds up really well, but it's something that I don't see often in stores anymore. Now, it's fairly readily available online, but I do believe it's slowly been disappearing. It's a great game that should definitely be mentioned and played that I don't think you should miss out on in your collection. The next game I'm going to quickly mention is AI the Somanium Files. Now, this is another game that I've only ever seen online, and I don't think I've ever seen in person. This was a game that was just like constantly trying to be sold, and I think it is now going out of print and only available in select retailers online. I think only Amazon and GameStop currently carry it. So it's definitely one of those Switch games where if you're a really hardcore Switch collector, you definitely don't want to miss out on. It's one of those games that just looks like it's gonna cost a lot if you want that complete Switch set. Now, WarioWare Get It Together is another game I'm going to mention, and not because I'm seeing it go out of stock constantly, but I feel like it is very, very forgotten. Not a lot of people talked about it, and I don't believe it's sold super well. And with another WarioWare game coming out in just a couple of months, I feel like it's definitely gonna get swept under the rug. It's a great WarioWare title. WarioWare games are really fun. It was never a full price Switch release, so that's pretty good. And I just think it's a great game that you should pick up before WarioWare move it, and if you want some WarioWare action on the Switch, it's perfect. It's just one of those titles that I feel like will end up becoming rare. Game & Wario on the Wii U is already in a really expensive game, and I'm kicking myself for missing out on. So don't miss out on WarioWare. Game Builder Garage. Now, this is a first-party Nintendo Switch game that came out with very little marketing, just wasn't talked about, and I just don't see it around like ever. I saw it in the first couple months that it came out, but I don't see it often. And now you might see it way more than I. But it's one of those games where it's a really interesting first-party Nintendo game, and I don't even know why I purchased this game. I just did. The collector in me was called to it. I was like, I feel like this game will become rare. I don't know. It's definitely one of those games where it feels like it'll be rare. It's a solid game to have in your first-party Switch collection if that's what you're collecting for. Definitely look into Game Builder Garage if you're interested, and especially in that full Nintendo Switch set. Now, this is a game, this title is really long. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition. Now, this is a port of a 3DS game that I didn't even know came out on the Switch. I didn't even know we had a Layton game on Switch yet. But we do, and it's this game that I'm not going to repeat the title because that is way too long. This is a Switch title that came out, and it is already out of stock practically everywhere. I have never once in my life seen it on a store shelf, and Layton games are just kind of one of those game series that's either they're really expensive or they're really not. So I don't know, if you're interested in the Layton games and you want those for your collection, and with an upcoming Professor Layton game, this definitely might be the chance to jump on this game, because if you're interested in the Layton games, you might not want to miss out on this game later down the road. This is a little batch of games that I want to talk about, just they're interesting. Now, these are not rare nor unpopular, but they might be something that you should definitely pick up if you're a physical collector. Some people might not even know that these have physical releases. Bayonetta 1 got a physical release on Switch separate from Bayonetta 2 physical edition on Switch, where that included Bayonetta 1 digital download. You can also get Metroid Prime Remastered physically, which was initially only digital for a couple of months and released later after the digital release came out to Switch. And as well as Pikmin 1 and 2 are confirmed to be getting physical copies in September. These are games that are re-releases of very popular games. I don't know how rare they'll become or if they'll ever become rare, but I feel like people are finding Metroid Prime Remastered to be more scarce than Mario 3D All-Stars was. So it's definitely worth looking into, and if you're interested in owning these games for your Switch collection, definitely go out and grab them. This is a game I forgot came out, and it's already out of stock in almost every retailer. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX on Switch. This came out like right in the beginning of COVID, I think somewhere between Animal Crossing New Horizons and Xenoblade Definitive Edition. So it just came out this really weird time, and everyone was busy with Animal Crossing and the beginning of the pandemic, and so it got swept under the rug, and I don't see it anywhere anymore. So this is a Pokemon game that is already becoming very scarce in the Switch's life. And another one to briefly mention is that Pokken Tournament got a port to the Switch, and that is something I don't ever see, and actually also forgot happened. And as a Pokemon fan and a collector, these are definitely games to pick up and add to your collection. Now, let me remind you again, this is all entirely speculation about what will become rare or is becoming more scarce. Now, that doesn't mean they're completely unavailable. They're becoming slowly less available and more rare, which could lead into them never being printed again or becoming rare for the rest of the Switch's life. And with rumors of a new Nintendo console in the works, it's definitely time to look into those earlier Switch titles or those games that have become slightly rare and less available before they become really rare and permanently out of print. I'm always into game collecting. I am always buying new games. If you watch these videos, you'll always see new collectibles appear in the background. So if you're interested in that kind of content and more of this, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Linkachu, and I'll see you in the next one. Linkachu out.